Hi there, I'm Kayla, and I'm here to talk to you about the International Monetary Fund, also known as the IMF. Let's begin with discussing how the IMF was formed. The IMF was created at a United Nations conference in Bretton Woods, United States in July 1944. The 44 countries that attended the conference sought to build a framework for economic cooperation to avoid a repetition of the competitive devaluations that had contributed to the Great Depression of the 1930s, which caused severe economic and financial crises for many countries and ultimately led to a world war. Now, the organization strives to achieve financial stability using these three main strategies. It begins by keeping track of the global economy and by monitoring the economies of member countries. It also helps by lending loans to countries who are experiencing balance of payment difficulties. Lastly, it provides help and advice to its member countries. This financial aid enables countries to rebuild their international reserves, stabilize their currencies, and continue paying for imports, while restoring conditions allowing for strong economic growth. Let's move on to the governance structure of the IMF. The IMF consists of a board of governors, which is the highest decision-making body of the IMF. It consists of one governor and one alternate governor for each member country. The governor is appointed by the member country and is usually the Minister of Finance or a financial expert. The IMF Board of Governors is advised by two ministerial committees: the International Monetary and Financial Committee, also known as the IMFC, and the Development Committee. The IMFC has 24 members, and these are drawn from a pool of 187 governors. The IMFC represents all the members of the Monetary Fund. Lastly, there is an executive board, which also consists of 24 member executives. This board is responsible for taking care of the daily operations and tasks of the IMF. Below this governing body, the IMF is composed of a series of departments which specialize in different areas. These areas include different continents such as Asia or Africa. So who's the IMF connected with? Well, let's discuss partnerships. The IMF is aligned with the United Nations, the World Bank, the Financial Stability Board, and the Duvel Partnership. These partners help provide the IMF with the support and information it needs to successfully help countries in need. The IMF also provides them with financial advice and is a member of many of these organizations itself. So let's move on to SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis consists of an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The IMF has several strengths. The IMF has strong partnerships, as discussed previously, with the UN, the World Bank, and other organizations. This helps stabilize its connections and its influence. The IMF also has many members, as it consists of 189 countries. This also helps strengthen the organization as it receives more support and more ability to influence. These diverse members and partnerships help strengthen the IMF because they bring in different partnerships, different perspectives that help bring in different kind of information into the IMF and help stabilize their policies and strategies through different kinds of expertise. The IMF is also strong because it has financial experts and economists to monitor all different kinds of financial activities and economies across the globe. This helps stabilize their strategy and also helps them bring their goals forward. The IMF also has many weaknesses. Diverse members could cause conflicting perspectives and difficulties in cooperation. The IMF is also funded by these members, so funding can be removed if countries choose to leave or don't quite support the initiatives of the IMF. Another issue is that the IMF mainly consists of financial and economic experts, which can kind of lead to limited perspectives and views, as often in situations, different forms of expertise in different areas, such as political areas, social, or any other kind of expertise, could help expand and broaden perspective and bring forward different solutions. But there's also opportunities that come with this. Strong partnerships and diverse members can allow the IMF to expand influence and provide more services to countries in need, therefore helping it come to its goals and business outcomes. The IMF has to be careful though. There are a lot of threats globally that can hinder its success. Uncertainty that comes with global financial crises that tend to happen can cause problems for the IMF, in which it would have to use its strengths to avoid falling into its weaknesses. There's also external threats involved with unstable political, economic, and social issues in governments in countries that can cause issues. The IMF doesn't necessarily have control over these things, so it has to be very careful to monitor all countries and ensure that unstable governments do not affect its business. So let's think about this for a moment. How can the IMF improve? Well, here's some recommendations. The IMF can improve by strengthening and changing its leadership to reflect global financial issues the world is experiencing today. The IMF should also attempt to diversify its members' expertise by hiring more than just financial experts. The IMF should also strive to change its financial policies to help the countries in need today. Therefore, it has to use its new leadership to come up with solutions to do so. The IMF should also lean on its partners for expertise and more advice that go beyond just financial issues and help address political and social issues that actually impact the financial economies. But overall, it can be said that the IMF does perform well. Since its beginning in 1945, the IMF has come a long way. It has grown from a small organization to a very large and influential organization in the last couple of decades, and it looks as if it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Well, now that we've gotten through all the heavy stuff, let's talk about some simple did you knows. Did you know that the IMF's membership today consists of 189 countries? Did you also know that the IMF's main headquarters are located in Washington, D.C.? Did you know that the IMF staff consists of approximately 2,663 staff from over 148 countries? And one more for you. Did you know that the IMF's biggest borrowers are from Portugal, Greece, and Ukraine and Ireland? Pretty interesting stuff. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for listening and take care. See you next time.